Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. Today we're talking about something really important, the cycle of abuse. This is a pattern that happens in abusive relationships, trapping victims in a never-ending loop of pain, apologies, and false hope. It's a tough topic, but it's one that needs to be discussed because so many people go through it without even realizing what's happening. In this video, we're going to break it all down, the 4 stages of the cycle, real-life examples, shocking statistics, and most importantly, how to break free from it. If you've ever felt like you're stuck in a relationship that keeps repeating the same toxic behaviors, or if you're trying to help someone in that situation, then this video is for you. Before we dive in, I just want to say, this video is for educational purposes only. If you or someone you know is experiencing abuse, please reach out to a trusted friend, family member, or professional support service. There are people who can help, and you don't have to go through this alone. Abuse is never okay, and there are ways to break the cycle. I'll also be leaving some resources in the description, so please check those out if you need help. All right, let's get into it. The cycle of abuse was first identified in 1979 by psychologist Lenore E. Walker, who studied women in abusive relationships and found that the abuse followed a repeating pattern. This cycle consists of 4 main phases: tension building, incident, reconciliation, and calm, also called the honeymoon phase. What's really terrifying is that this cycle doesn't just repeat, it often escalates over time, becoming more frequent and more severe. This is why so many people feel trapped in abusive relationships. They might think things will get better, or they didn't mean it, but in reality, the cycle just keeps turning. So, let's break it down. The tension building phase is where the warning signs start. The abuser may become irritable, withdrawn, or emotionally distant. Small things might set them off, and the victim starts feeling like they have to be extra careful not to trigger an outburst. This is where you hear people say they feel like they're walking on eggshells. For example, imagine a partner who starts giving their significant other the silent treatment after a bad day at work. They start snapping over small things, maybe a misplaced item or a late response to a text. The victim, sensing the growing tension, tries to calm things down, maybe by apologizing for things they didn't even do. But no matter what, the pressure keeps building. Then comes the incident phase. This is where the tension explodes. The abuser lashes out, whether it's through physical, emotional, or verbal abuse. This could mean hitting, screaming, insults, threats, or even controlling behavior like taking away money or isolating the victim from friends and family. It can happen suddenly, or it can be the result of small conflicts that keep stacking up. For example, let's say a couple has been arguing over finances for days. One night, the abuser suddenly explodes in rage, yelling, throwing objects, or even getting physically violent. At this moment, the victim is often in shock, scared, and unsure of what to do. Then, almost like flipping a switch, we move into the reconciliation phase, also known as the honeymoon phase. This is where the abuser apologizes, makes excuses, and tries to win back the victim's trust. They might say things like, "I'm so sorry, I didn't mean it," or "I was just stressed, it won't happen again." They may shower the victim with love, buy gifts, or act as if nothing happened. And because the victim is emotionally attached and wants to believe the abuse was just a mistake, they often accept the apology. For example, after a violent outburst, the abuser might come home the next day with flowers, telling their partner how much they love them and how they can't live without them. The victim, desperate to believe in change, forgives them. And then we enter the calm phase. Everything seems back to normal. The couple might go out together, laugh, and spend time as if nothing ever happened. It feels like things are getting better, and the victim convinces themselves that the abuse was just a one-time thing. But here's the problem. This phase never lasts. The underlying issues are never addressed, and sooner or later, the tension starts building again. The cycle repeats, and every time it does, the abuse can get worse. The calm phases become shorter, and the violent outbursts become more intense. And this isn't just something that happens in romantic relationships. The cycle of abuse can occur in families, friendships, and even workplaces. Abuse isn't always physical. It can be emotional, psychological, financial, or even digital. like controlling someone through social media or constant surveillance. What's really disturbing is that research shows 1 in 4 women and 1 in 9 men will experience intimate partner violence in their lifetime. And it doesn't stop there. Children who grow up in abusive households are much more likely to either become the victims or abusers themselves. The trauma gets passed down, creating a cycle that can continue for generations. So, how do you break the cycle? Awareness is the first step. If you recognize these patterns in your relationship or someone else's, it's important to understand that this isn't normal and it won't just go away on its own. Support systems are key. Many victims stay in abusive relationships because they feel alone, ashamed, or financially dependent. This is why talking to friends, family, support groups, or therapists can make a huge difference. Safety planning is also crucial. If you or someone you know is in an abusive situation, having an escape plan, like knowing where to go, who to call, and what resources are available, can be life-saving. Another major factor is breaking the trauma bond. A lot of victims feel emotionally tied to their abuser because of the good moments in the relationship. The apologies, the gifts, the moments of kindness. They make the victim believe that things can get better. But understanding that this is just a part of the cycle can help victims separate real love from manipulation. And finally, intervention programs for abusers do exist, but they only work if the abuser is willing to change, which unfortunately is rare. In most cases, the best way to break free from the cycle is to leave and seek professional help to heal from the trauma. Survivors who have gotten out of abusive relationships often say it was the hardest thing they've ever done, but also the most life-changing decision they've ever made. The cycle of abuse isn't just a personal issue, it's a public health crisis that affects millions of people. That's why organizations like the World Health Organization, domestic violence hotlines, and local advocacy groups exist to help people escape these situations safely. If you or someone you know is going through this, please don't wait. Reach out. There is help and there is hope. If this video helped you understand the cycle of abuse, please share it with others who might need this information. Let's raise awareness and help people recognize the signs before it's too late. And remember, you deserve respect, love, and a life free from abuse. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.